What's up, y'all? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. And I know that you are here to listen to the best humans on the planet to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. Let's do this. What's up, party people? I have my own community. You can actually reach my community as well at winject.com/groups/Neena Perez, and go on there and just say, hey girl, I'm on here. And that way we can chit chat and talk back in Winject. So I want to make sure that you don't miss any episodes on here. So make sure that you click that like button. It's around here somewhere, that share button, subscribe, all of that great stuff, so that we can really start spreading the word and spreading all of the great stuff that happens to develop you as a human being, right? So we come on here, we talk about a lot of personal development, business stuff, social awareness, like all that kind of stuff. And, I want to make sure that you are up to date with everything. So you're winject.com. If you are here on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're looking at, Twitter, whatever, just make sure that you subscribe, repost, reshare, all that great stuff, so that you can help us make more impact in the world, because that is why we are here. Now, this is my 57th episode here on Winject. I have, I think I've reached like 10,000 downloads or something like that on my podcast. I was so stoked. But it's really been a true fun thing for me to do this podcast, to helping people transform the way they think, to talk about inner healing stuff, to talk about, unwanted behaviors and core values and business and all that great stuff, because that is what's helped me to become the woman that I am today. And that is what I want to do, is to help everyone else out there as much as I can. I know I'm not like the guru of everything, and I don't think anybody is, but I do know some shit, right? I've done some stuff in my life. I have gone through some stuff in my life, and I've definitely overcome some things in my life. So make sure that you go ahead and click like, subscribe, share, all that great stuff, so we can keep growing this. Okay. So I came on here because I've been talking about a lot of different things this last maybe couple of months or so, where I've been talking about a lot of inner healing work. I've been talking about connecting with your inner child, connecting with your inner adult, belief systems, all that great stuff. And there's a reason for that. And it's because as I've gone through my journey in entrepreneurship and just as a woman, right, I realized that there has been a process in my life that has helped me to get to where I am. I tried to just attack only the business stuff because I love working with my team. I love curriculum building. I love frameworks. I love, like strategies. I love all of that. And so that's where I was living for a little while. And I realized that the more I worked with women, because that's what I do, is I work with women, the more I realized that we were really dealing with more of the inner stuff. We were dealing more with their belief system, the toxic shame in their life, forgiveness, emotions, like all that stuff was holding them back from developing the business that they wanted. And we had to deal with that stuff first. And that's why I decided, you know what, we need to start identifying our gaps in our life from where we are right now to where we want to go to start thriving. Because if we just stay stuck in that one area of our life, whether it's, building that framework or having that online coaching business or building an online, consulting business or whatever it is, right? We sometimes don't realize that we're just in this pattern, this holding pattern, and we're kind of stuck there because we haven't identified our gaps. Like, we haven't identified where we are in life to where it is we want to go, right? And I know for me, I was feeling stuck. I was feeling like I'm spinning my wheels. I'm trying to get from here to there. And I didn't know why I wasn't moving as much as I wanted to, because I am a high achiever. I'm somebody who always thinks about achieving, always thinks about moving forward, always thinks about the next thing, the next go get it, that kind of thing. And I realized I was actually kind of stuck. I just stuck in my mind flow, stuck in the way things were moving for me. I was spending a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy, just constantly trying to figure this out. And sometimes you can feel that way, and you feel like you're doing so much work, but you're getting nowhere, right? And so I wanted to to tackle that in my life. And I'm still tackling that, right? Because I think we'll do that forever. But it's time to take stock in where you are right now. What is your current situation, and identifying the gaps, right, that are preventing you from reaching that full potential that you're trying to get to in your life, right? So I was thinking about this for the last few months, and I'm like, okay, so what are my gaps, and how do I even know what they are? How do I start to process what these gaps are and identifying them so I can keep achieving my visions and my goals for what it is I want to take action, right? So I want to start thriving in my life. I want to move forward in my life. I want to accomplish a lot of things in my life. And I know we all have goals and we all have inspirations and we all have things, well, some of us, to thrive in life. And I say some of us because I had a really interesting conversation with a good friend of mine yesterday. And I said, I'm just one of those people that can't stay one level. I have to keep thriving. I don't know. That's just built in me. She goes, yeah, I'm not like that at all. And I'm like, I respect that. At least she knows that about herself. And then she doesn't have to keep trying to get to the next level. And not everybody's like that. I happen to be like that, right? And the women that I work with are all self-led. They're all, high achievers. They're all either entrepreneurs or leaders. Those are the type of women that I work with. Those are the type of women that I want to work with, because they have goals, they have aspirations, they want to go forward, they want to push themselves, and not everybody does, right? But when we don't know how to identify our gaps between where we are now and where we want to be, it can be so difficult to make the changes that you're going to need in order to thrive. So identifying your gaps is probably, for me, the most important, like, first step for me to really even want to go to that next level, because otherwise I'm going to just stay stuck where I'm at, right? So you have to start taking that first step of taking control of where your destiny, of where you're going, of what you want to do, and making the most out of it in your life. Because otherwise, don't complain. If you're still where you are and you haven't moved anywhere, don't complain. If you haven't even decided that you want to start doing some work to get yourself moving forward, you have to analyze your current situation. You have to step back for a second, take a big look, and take a close look at what's happening in your life right now. Is it conducive to where it is you want to go? Now, this could include everything, right? I want you to look at your job, your career choice. Are you satisfied with those things, right? Your personal relationships, maybe habits that you have that are really not good habits, are not serving you the way you want them to serve you. You have to analyze your current situation. You have to analyze where you are right now. Okay? Because that's the key. I mean, the first one is awareness, right? You have to be aware. So what do you look like right now? What does that look like in your current situation? Are you happy with your job? Are you happy with your career choice? Are you happy with your relationships? Are you happy with where you are financially, physically, emotionally, mentally? Are you happy with those things? Right? You don't have to like completely 100% like it all the time, but are you satisfied with the current situation of your life? And if you're not, then the next question really becomes, what changes would you want to make? How are you going to make the most impact to change your life and to have difference in your life? Sometimes you got to just kind of leap in faith, right? You have to take some time to really look at your situation, write down what is working, write down what isn't working, okay? And then go take the steps that you need. You have to start doing that. I know for me, I think about many, many years ago, I was a medical assistant for like 15 years, right? I used to do medical assisting. I used to do ultrasound. So I was in the medical piece. And I remember coming home with severe anxiety and anxiousness and worrying and crying. And my husband's like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just not happy. I'm just not happy. Right. And so I took a leap of faith. The story's long, so I won't get into it. But I took a leap of faith and I went back to school to do what it is I always wanted to do as a child, which was to become a chef. And it's exactly what I did. I went and became a chef, and I climbed up that ladder very quickly. And I'm now a director of culinary operations. Right. So it took 10, 15 years or whatever I've been doing it. And I freaking love it. And I've worked at amazing restaurants, and I've had my own catering business, my own kids cooking business. It's amazing. right? And through that, I realized how strong I am, how smart I am, how impactful I can be in making difference in people's lives. Because as I started leading teams, I realized how good I am at it and how effective I am. And also the fact that I can really like take people from where they are to where they wanted to be. Even a lot of my team members just moved up and out, and they just kept thriving in their life and careers. And it was because of the coaching that I did even in my teams for them, right? So take the time to write down what you're looking at. Really take notice. Like, this is what I'm doing right now. Am I happy? No. What do I do? What is my next step to change this? Because this sucks. Right? And so when you do that and you realize that there are steps, because there are, guys. I mean, the truth is we are going to, we're going to probably, die sooner than we think, or we don't have tomorrow promised to us. So take the step today. Don't freaking wait. What are you waiting for anyway? What are you waiting for? There is nothing you can wait for, because you're not promised tomorrow. You're not even promised later. So after you write your steps down, find out why you want to even do it. What's your motivation, right? So I guess that's my second point. What is your motivation? It's time for you to do a little bit of soul searching. What is it that you want to do, and why do you want to do it, right? What is it that you truly want out of your life? A lot of people want different things. Some people want success, money, they want all of that. Some people want more time with their family. Some people want to be home with the kids and not do CEO work anymore. I have clients like that, right? What is it that you want to do in your life? Start doing some soul searching and stop watching all of these gurus out there that are telling you what it is that you want. You need to know what you truly want out of your life. Define those values, okay? This is what I help my clients with all the time, because we end up going down to the root of the core values and they realize, holy crap, the core values I have do not align at all with what I'm doing, right? So define your values. What are they? What are your core values? What is it that you really, really want? Not the surface stuff. What do you really freaking want? For me, it's freedom. I want freedom. I want the freedom to be able to not have debt, the freedom to be able to be with my family, the freedom to start a little homestead. I want to have my own little chickens and my little garden and all. I want that. So I have to start defining what those steps are for me and how do I get there? Right? So what are your values? What is it that you want? What do you freaking need? And I'm not talking about just money. Money could be a part of it. But I'm talking about what your needs really are, like deep, deep down in your soul. What are they? If you're watching and you want to comment and tell me what they are, I would love to hear them. What is it that you value? What do you want? What are your needs? What are your dreams? I'm trying to tickle your dreams, right? So that you can serve and guide when setting these goals and taking the action. Right? I want you to be able to serve yourself on what it is you want. Serve your goals, serve yourself so that you can start taking action, right? You have to make sure that your motivations are aligned to your core. If they're not, you're constantly going to be going on this wheel, constantly feeling stuck, constantly going back and forth, constantly applying to this program, buying that book, going to this person. You're constantly doing that. A coach can really help you get there. A mentor can really help you get there, but you need to start aligning who you really are at the core, and don't let anybody else dictate what success looks like to you and for you. Okay. Don't let people do that. You dictate what success looks like for you and to you. Okay. So make sure that if you're going to do all of this work and you're going to try to find what your gaps are, that you are aligning what your motivations are at your core. And don't let anyone else tell you what that looks like, because we get freaking stuck. We get really stuck in moving forward in our life because somebody else, I don't want to downgrade my job because they're going to, how's that going to look to my superiors, or how's that going to look to my mentor? How's that going to look? If that means that you want to downgrade your job for less stress, for more freedom, for the ability to do what it is you want to do, just come in and leave. Maybe you don't want to be the CEO. Maybe you don't want to be that chief executive, blah, blah, blah. right? That's okay. But you have to make sure that that motivation aligns with who you are at the core, and stop letting people's ideas of what it is to be successful dictate what success looks like for you. I'm so tired of that. I'm tired of it. Like, I speak to so many beautiful, amazing, strong, self-led women, and they are always concerned about, well, I mean, I want us to be a stay-at-home mom, but I'm making, almost seven figures as the CEO, and I don't know what to do here. Well, what do you really want? Well, I really, really want to be with my baby. Really? How do we do that? Right? You guys have to stop thinking about what other people care about. Who cares? At the end of the day, when you are laying in your deathbed, you got to make sure that you lived your life exactly how you wanted to live it, with the motivations you wanted to, and literally aligned your life with what was in you, with the core of what's inside of you. And you can't do that based on somebody else's vision of what they think you should be doing. And that happens to so many people. It's sad. It is so sad. When I look at, like, those, what do they call them, one hit wonders, right? And I see, like, where are they now type of thing, and people always got something to say, right? Keyboard confidence, behind your little keyboard, just typing away with all your little confidence, right? And you don't know what this person has been through, and maybe they realize, you know what, Hollywood is not for me. And I've heard people say that Hollywood is not for me. I don't like the way they control your life. If you don't do what they say, da 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 da, whatever. And I'm like, wow, that is so powerful when these people can align who they are at the core to who they want to be out there, who they want, what success looks like for them, and not what you think the success should look like for them, right? So you need to really think about that, and think about your vision and your goals and how you want to set achievable visions and goals in your life. Because once you've identified all of that and you identify what your motivations are, then it's time for you to set the goals as how you get there. This is not rocket science, people. This is you moving your ass to move forward into what it is you want to do. And moving forward, again, does not mean to become the next CEO. It could mean to step back and be who you want to be at home. It could be to step back and just take a chill pill. I don't know. But because not everybody wants to be the next, big whatever, right? So identify what your motivations are. It's time for you to start doing that, so you could really align what your goals are and what your visions are for your freaking life. I can't tell you what your freaking life is. You could tell me. You could tell me if you really know what they are. Because a lot of times we want to just get there. I always said, when I get to six figures, I'm going to be all good. I am not all good. I'm not all good. I have a lot of work to do. I got to the six figures, woohoo, whatever. And it's like, maybe that's not what I want. Maybe what I want is freedom. And I know that's one of my core values. I want freedom in my life. Freedom to me means freedom to do what it is I want to do. Work if I want to, not work if I want to. Be debt free, right? I always say debt, depending on how you use debt, because you can use debt to really leverage your business. But I'm talking about debt that's over your head, that's consuming you, right? That kind of debt is you being slave to that lender, right? So remember that progress is going to take you a lot of determination, practice, setting these visions and goals, making sure that you are doing what it is you want to do, aligned with you. And it may not always be easy. Hello, what is easy in life that is worth it? Not much. Everything takes work. Relationships take work. Your business takes work. Losing weight takes work. All of this stuff takes freaking work. Okay? What's that? Hold on. Money is not what money is just a warm place to hide. I'm speaking from experience, right? I know, and that's the thing. And the money can help you hide. And do you want to be hidden? I don't know. Money is great. I'm not bashing money. I'm bashing our motivations for it. I'm bashing what we think we need to achieve to have it, right? And to the point of leaving our families for 12 to 14 hours a day and working ourselves to the freaking bone and having stress. And believe me, I know, because I deal with a lot of like high level stress, right, in my life. And I'm trying to understand it so I can rip that down. I'm tired of that, right? So remember that progress is going to take practice. I'm still practicing too. It may not always be easy. Of course, it's not freaking easy, right? I remember when my kids were growing up and I told them they wanted me to buy them a car. And I said, absolutely not. I will never buy you a car. And they're like, what? Why you buy a car? Because you have to work for your car. You know why? When you work and bust your tail for your little hoopty, you're going to take care of it. You're going to make sure it has gas, it has oil, it's being taken care of, it's washed. If I buy it, there's no value to it, right? Yeah, that's what I meant. What tends to happen is that you'll fall into what is being brought into your identity as opposed to what's being the byproduct of impact. Wow. That's so good. That's so good. Pop that up one more time. I want to read that again. Yes, that's what I meant. What tends to happen is that you'll fall into what's being brought into your identity as opposed to, listen to this, guys, that being the byproduct of impact, right? Wow. And that's the thing, like when you don't know who you are, anything can come and give you an identity, right? Money, success, career, family status, your little handsome guy on the side, or your little, prize queen on the side or something. You think that brings you an identity, right? So you have to remember that it is not always going to be easy for you to really live authentically with who you are, but you're gonna have to do it if you want to live a life that it has impact, that it means something, right? That you are doing something that you freaking love, even if it's costing you something, and it should cost you something, right? So it can happen. You can make this happen, and you can do it manageably, right? You can do steps little at a time to be manageable so that it's not intimidating. And a lot of times what happens right now is, oh my God, if I get another freaking email, a commercial about how I can be a billionaire in 90 days, I'm going to scream, right? Because it makes you like, oh, okay, let me try this one. Okay, let me try this one. Okay, let me try this one. And you just keep going down the same thing, the same rabbit hole, trying to get that success in your life because you don't know who the hell you are. You don't have to conquer the world all at once. Okay? Focus on the one thing, those small changes every single day, one at a time, until it becomes your habit, until you see something happening. Okay? One thing at a time, one impact at a time, one day at a time. Stop trying to conquer the freaking world in one day. It's not going to happen. All right? So after you do all of this amazing stuff in your life where you're going to start taking action and getting these goals in your life, looking at your motivations, looking at what it is exactly that you have right now in your life. So you are actually setting a precedent here, and you're going to be like, okay, now I know what I have, and I'm going to start to see what my motivations are. Why is it that I want to do this? Breaking all this stuff down. Now you're going to take action. All right. This is the fun part. All right. Think about all of the resources that you have available to you right now, because a lot of people say, oh, I don't have anybody, or I don't have anything, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not good enough. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Okay. Everybody has this show. Maybe there's a couple tips here you can write down to help you out. You have courses and mentors and coaches and podcasts and books and online groups. And there's just, the list goes on and on. And all of these resources can help you a little bit to get to where it is you want to go without overwhelming yourself, because now you have a focus. You know what it is you want. You already cleared that up. You already did some steps. What's step 1? What's step 2? What's step 3? What's step 4? Right? Once you have those steps and you start to hyper focus on just the steps, not the whole thing, one freaking step at a time. When you try to do too many things, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. And then you're going to be pissed off that you didn't get there. Here comes the cycle again. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You can't do it. Wasting money, wasting time, wasting energy. Don't forget that every little tiny step forward is forward. Okay? That's progress, guys. Okay? Like, think about the time that, most of you who watch my show are entrepreneurs or leaders or people who have worked, right? So you did not know your job the second you walked into that job. There's no way you did, but you learned it as you went. How? One step at a time, one day at a time, as you went to work and punched in and out. That's how you learned your job. Don't forget that every little step like that got you to where you are today. You can utilize all of those skill sets. Okay? An inch will make a mile, guys. It will. If you start with an inch, you will make the mile, right? At this point, you have to be careful not to be discouraged, not to let things come at you, not to let things go against your plan and make you feel down. Everything that comes against you, every challenge that you get, every failure that you get is an opportunity for you to grow. It is an opportunity for you to expand your knowledge and who you are, and also expand who you want to impact later when you've made these changes. Okay. So don't let things that come in to discourage you and steal, I call them dream killers, and kill your dream and steal everything from you. Do not let this pull you down. Instead, you're going to look at it. You're going to say, this is an opportunity for me to grow. Holy crap, I didn't even see this downfall. I'm going to pivot and change, and I'm going to make this happen for me. That's growth. That's learning. Those are the people I like to be around, because they take all of their failures, like I do, take all of my failures, and I figure stuff out. I realize, whoop, that didn't work last time. I ain't doing that again, right? And your mindset, your mind, I call it mind flow, because I feel like your mind has to be expanded and contracting. It has to go and flow. Your mind flow is key, guys. Okay, it's key. You know, I was watching this show. I never watched it before, but apparently it's been on a long time. It's called Alone. I'm sure you guys are like, Neena, you never saw that? This show Alone has 10 contestants go out into this wilderness, right? So I just watched the last season, I think. And it was like grizzly bear wilderness country or something in Canada or whatever. I was like, hell no. Right? These 10 contestants went out into this harsh wilderness, and you know, the show puts them in very far from each other, so they'll never bump into each other, right? And they're there for like 90 freaking days. Are you kidding me? No, thank you. All right. So depending on who the last person is standing, it can probably surpass the 90 days, because you don't know until the last person yields, right? So I think I would have lasted a day. Probably as soon as they landed me, I'd be like, excuse me, boat, can you come back here, please? Thank you. I'm done, right? I wouldn't have lasted a day, because I've never done that before. I've never done anything about surviving in the wilderness before, and my behind would have starved out there trying to figure all that out. But one thing I did realize as I was watching this show is that I predicted who was going to drop first and who wasn't. And it was very interesting that I was about 85% right. Because the one thing I realized is that the ones who made it to the very end of the show, even the ones that didn't win the grand prize, but they made it to the latest part of the show, it was all mindset. I realized that the ones that kept saying, I don't know if I'm going to make it the 90 days. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try. Oh, I miss my family. I need to go home. There's no point in there's nothing wrong with giving up. It's fine to tap out. I'm good with it. Those people actually tapped out and left the show earlier than the ones who never mentioned it. There was like maybe 2 people who never, ever really mentioned it until like day 70 or something like that. It was like kind of crazy. But 70 days, can you imagine in the wilderness, like living literally off the land with grizzly bears? Nah, I'm not even a thing, right? So, but those people that didn't even talk about tapping out early, or didn't even talk about the button or any of that, those people were the ones that lasted until the end. And I realized it is hard out there. I would have been tapping out day 1. But I realized that because they didn't even put the vocabulary into the decision, it wasn't even a thing for them. They didn't even think about it until the very end. All right. I'm not saying that they weren't right for tapping out. They knew their body, their limits. They knew that. That's not what I'm saying. But they all went out there. They all tried, and they all lasted. Okay. They all lasted way more than any of us sitting at home eating bonbons would have lasted. Okay. So I know that you have to think about, what you're thinking about, what your mindset is. All right. And that'll help you move forward. And if you already start thinking about tapping out before you've begun, it is very, very evident that you will not make it very far, because you're going to constantly think of that plan B, or that, that cushion that you're looking for. So don't let others judge you by stopping you from going wherever it is you want to go. And don't let yourself give you excuses that you don't need. Okay. Don't do that to yourself. It's not worth it. You are not going to be happy if you are going to be stuck in this place where you can't, move forward because you've already told yourself you're not going to make it. Okay. So make sure that you surround yourself with people that are there for you emotionally, practically, that they are giving you good advice, that they are also giving you great feedback. All right. Whether it's friends or families or mentors or coaches or, leaders, professionals, whatever it is, I don't care who it is, just surround yourself with people that you know can be valuable to you. All right. Because the people who have already been there, done that, or are on their way or have gone through something that you've gone through or can understand, that's invaluable to help you navigate through challenges. I promise you. All right. So have somebody in your life that you trust, that you know can get you there. Even if it's here on a live stream, right? Maybe it's somebody that you trust and that you've seen them grow and move through things. And you're like, wow, that's great advice. I'm going to take that advice. You can do this. You can go forward and achieve the dreams that you want. Okay, so take stock in your lives, identify your motivations, start setting those goals in your life. Okay, think about your mind flow. Okay, think about your mind flow. Doing this, you're going to recognize your potential. You're going to recognize your gaps. You're going to be able to see between then and now who you are and what you want to be, how you're going to set that up. All right, then you can create the action plan and you start going step by step and doing what it is you want to do, one step at a time, one day at a time. One moment at a time. That's all you can do anyway, guys. That's all you can do. You can have large goals and lofty plans. That's all good. But if you don't start with the one step, you ain't never going to get there. I'm sorry. I don't know who lied to you and told you you can do it in 30 days, but you're not going to get to that lofty big thing that you want to do unless you actually do the steps. Can you get there in 30 days? Possibly, if you really do the work of focusing one step at a time, one moment at a time. You try to do 20 things at a time. I feel bad because I know that that's going to run you back into the ground of where it is you're trying to get out of. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening. You are the best. Okay. I have the best podcasting community ever. I really do. And I appreciate you guys being on here. Make sure you go on to winject.com/register, winject.com/register and register for my free community because I want to be really connected with you and I want us to brainstorm and be with each other and connect in a deeper way. If you are looking for coaching, please make sure that you also email me at hello@straighttalknosugaradded.com. I work with women and I help them develop that business that they are envisioning in their hearts so that they can win. Thank you guys so much for being here. Love you, love you, love you. This is Neena Perez, Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. Until next time.
It's easy to lose sleep when you're worried about your health insurance plan. But when you have a family counting on you to take care of them, having the right coverage is more important than ever. That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here to help. With low to no cost plans for you and your family, so you never go it alone. That's our Anthem. Click to learn more.
Today, we discuss Miro. Listen, when it comes to running client workshops, the dream, of course, is to get those creative juices flowing, right? But typically what ends up happening is thousands of hours get wasted because of poorly facilitated meetings. So I have Maya with me today. She's a consultant who runs Fortune 100 workshops, from leadership training to team building, and she has the insider tip on what makes things work. Maya?
Thank you, Jason. I've been doing this a long time. My number one tip is to bring everyone into that visual collaboration platform. So personally, I use Miro, and it's completely changed how I interact with the room. You have to give people a way to feel like they're in the room even when they're not. That's something you can do easily in Miro. Otherwise, they've seen the same slides and format 1,000 times.
Falling asleep, eyes glazing over, yawns, all that.
Exactly. When people follow me on the Miro board, everyone is literally going on a journey with me. We're adding thoughts, we're reacting, and we're voting for the best ideas. It's great.
Connective magic. I like it. That's MIRO.com.